President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, present the idea of creating an invisible security system in Eurasia on the third day of a meeting with the other Brics members. Russian President Vladimir Putin met with his Venezuelan counterpart Nicolás Maduro to seal strategic alliances on the sidelines of the 2024 Brics Summit. Israel carries out a wave of airstrikes against Hezbollah at a stronghold in southern Beirut, Lebanon, on the night of October the 23rd, destroying a residential complex. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the TeleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. Will we go with the news? Stay with us. The President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, presented the idea of creating an indivisible security system in Eurasia on the third day of a meeting with the other Brics members. The Russian head of state highlighted that this system should be built on an exclusive and non-discriminatory basis. Putin argued that it is about ensuring security, common efforts, stability, and setting out conditions for the breakthrough of all states and people in Eurasia. The leader further stressed that Russia's other Brics members is open to working in conjunction with the countries of the Global South and is to boost inclusive and sustainable development in order to build a better world. Also, Russian President Vladimir Putin said Brics leaders agreed to continue discussing on the list of partner states and on progress about a common payment system. The Russian president offered a detailed balance of the last 3 days of meeting in Kazan and said the bloc's members are open to those nations sharing their values. Putin also points out that his country uses its own financial system as did other bloc members and called for deepening the working agenda. The Brics members also pledge to do all they can to end the Ukrainian conflict by peaceful means. Likewise, the Russian president praised the capacity and strength of the Brics members and partner countries to lead the world to be part of an equal global security system and contribute to the global development.
I would like to note that the states represented here have great opportunities, resources, capabilities, and global authority for ensuring world security and for sustainable development. Many of our countries come up with their own useful initiatives, so does Russia. Russia comes up with the idea of forming an equal and indivisible security system in Eurasia. The idea is to ensure stability truly, and to set out conditions for peaceful development of all regional countries, and it is symbolic that our today's session takes place on a day when we celebrate the United Nations, as on October 24, 1945 the United Nations Charter came into force.
In Russia, from the Brics Plus plenary session, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro stressed the need to strengthen the global monetary system along the lines of the New World. The Venezuelan head of state began his speech by congratulating the host of the Global South Bloc Summit, Russian President Vladimir Putin, for the inclusive, convening, and unitary character of leadership that Russia has exercised in organizing the successful summit. The Venezuelan president stressed the need to create a new global financial system. In addition, President Maduro called for a refundation of the United Nations system after regretting that the organization has no capacity to put an end to the aggressions committed daily by the Israeli regime against the Palestinians. The Venezuelan head of state took the opportunity to underscore the Brics' impact on the birth of a new era in the world order.
The Brics emerged at a time when there is an era change. There is a shift of a historical era. A new era has emerged. And new superpowers have emerged. New powers and nations that, modestly as Venezuela, or regions as Latin America and the Caribbean. Here is our sister Cuba, our sister Bolivia, our sister Nicaragua. We aspire, from the modesty of our existence, but with the greatness of our dreams. We aspire that our rights to independence, to the future and to development be respected there. Brics have put new paradigms on the world agenda.
During his speech at the Brics Plus plenary session, the president of Bolivia, Luis Arce, asserted that multilateralism is a way of confronting the aggressive policies of the West against the peoples of the South.
Multipolarism emerges and positions itself on the planetary political and economic relations, because the situation of planet Earth has reached the limits of endangering the survival of human beings on Mother Earth. Due to an irrational arms race and the concentration of wealth in the hands of few, where more and more strategic weapons are produced on a daily basis to maintain dominance in the face of possible responses of the considered threats, and where inequalities between the rich and poor are accentuated. The world has become aware of this reality, and that is why multipolarism emerges as a necessity and expression of the freedom of peoples and nations, unjustly and cruelly punished, with genocidal actions, such as the military attacks on Palestine, the economic blockade on Cuba, or the cruel neo-colonialism exercised against the Sahrawi people who are denied their self-determination.
Let's take a very first break, but remember you can now join us on our TikTok account as TeleSUR English, where you'll be able to see news in different formats, news updates and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. And we continue in the framework of the Brics Summit with our special envoy in Kazan, Russia, Yunus Soner, with the details of his report.
The 16th summit of the Brics Alliance has come to an end today on October 24 with the final press conference of Russian President Vladimir Putin, who qualified the alliance as the gathering of, I quote, truly independent and sovereign states that seek to establish their own path. And he added that the struggle will go on to establish a more democratic, inclusive and multipolar world. 35 countries have taken part in the summit, in the last part, in the Brics Plus part, in addition to the normal members, and several important decisions were taken. Firstly, the issue of Brics expansion. Here, the members have introduced a new category. This is the partner country category. The details of it have to be determined yet. That is, what rights and obligations has a partner country in difference to a member. This is yet to be found out, but this category has been established now, and a dialogue has started to reach a consensus about countries that would like to have this status. In addition, the deepening of financial integration and joint economic activities have been agreed upon. Above all, a joint investment platform is on the horizon. The new development bank, the Brics Bank, will play a bigger role in the future. Also, studies will be pursued to further advance trade in national currencies as well as trade in cryptocurrencies. And as I said, the international investment position of the Brics will advance further on. During the speeches, during the 3 days, the dominant topic, the dominant theme was multipolarity. In Friday and Thursday's speeches, almost all of the leaders, heads of government or prime minister, emphasized that the world is in transition to multipolarity, and they demanded that the international organizations such as the United Nations and its Security Council, but also the World Bank or the IMF, have to reflect this truth by giving the Global South a bigger power. Now, until the end of the year, Russia will still hold some events. as Brics chairmanship. And on the 1st of January 2025, the presidency, the temporary presidency of the Brics Alliance will be handed over to Brazil. This is the final report from Kazan, Russia, with the closure of the Brics summit here in Kazan.
Moving on, Israel has launched a wave of airstrikes against Hezbollah strongholds in southern Beirut, Lebanon, on the night of October 23rd, destroying a residential complex. The raid came after United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken, on a visit to Israel, told its allies to avoid further escalations with Iran. Israel is fighting Iran backed by Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in Lebanon, and has vowed to retaliate against Iran for an October 1st missile attack. In Lebanon, the official national news agency reported at least 10 Israeli strikes on Beirut's southern suburbs after the Israeli army issued an evacuation warning for the area. Moreover, the Israeli strikes hit a residential complex near the southern suburb of Laki, completely destroying it and causing a large fire. The Lebanese resistance Hezbollah confirmed the assassination of Hashem Safi Al-din after an aggressive criminal incursion of the Israeli army. Hezbollah announced on Wednesday the death of the chairman of its executive council in a Zionist aggression. Following the announcement, the Lebanese resistance expressed its commitment to martyrs to continue the path of resistance and struggle until achieving the goals of freedom and victory. For many years, Syed Hashem Safi Al-din headed the Executive Council and its different institutions and units. He worked in multiple files related to the task of resistance. Furthermore, for a long time, Safi Al-din devoted his life to Hezbollah and was close to the resistance fighters and loved the families of its martyrs. The operations room of Lebanese resistance Hezbollah published a file briefing of the battles fought by its soldiers against the Israeli army this October 23rd on the border with occupied Palestine. The report confirmed the losses inflicted of the enemy in terms of equipment and number of officers and soldiers along the 5 axes of confrontations on the front lines until reaching their positions deep in occupied Palestine. According to the briefing, the casualties counted in the actions exceeded 70 deaths and 600 wounded officers and soldiers, in addition to the destruction of 28 Merkava tanks, 4 military bulldozers, 1 armored vehicles, and 1 troop transport for the Hermes drums were taken down. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, called for a prompt and thorough investigation into an attack by the Israeli army near a hospital in South Beirut. In his statements issued on October 22nd, he recalled how hospitals, ambulances, and medical personnel are protected by the international humanitarian law because of their critical role in saving lives. Turk stressed the need for all involved parts to assess the impact of military operations near hospitals and urged them to comply with the principles of proportionality and precaution. He also called for all the feasible measures to be taken to avoid or at least minimize incidental losses of civilian lives during what he refers to as military actions. Let's take our last break, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at TeleSUR English, where you'll be able to watch our interviews, top stories, special broadcasts, and more. Hit the subscribe button and active the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Un financial breakdown, go away. Welcome back. In the United States, in Maricopa County, Arizona, thousands of workers begins pulling and checking the validity of early voting ballots. Employees said that a ballot has been properly signed and it is neither damaged nor legible, which helps prepare for the ballot counting on November the 5th.
We believe that we have a responsibility to our voters to explain our process, and we think it's important that people who participate in the democracy of our country, that they have an idea that how their elections are run. Our elections are highly scrutinized. We work side by side with the political parties to make sure that they have observers. Our workers come from all different backgrounds.
In Argentina, on Thursday, the former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Santiago Cafiero, accused the government of Javier Milei of surrendering the country's sovereignty after an official document referred to the Maldives Islands as Falklands. The refers appears in a draft communication by the Defense Ministry after a meeting with its head, Diana Mondino, and the Vice President of the International Committee of the Red Cross. The Argentine territory was mentioned by the term coined by the United Kingdom, prompting controversy among citizens, which led to the documents being deleted in the aftermath. In this context, Cafiero assured that the use of the term by the government is not a mistake, but a surrender of sovereignty. In Uruguay, the electoral courts start the delivery of voting materials for the upcoming October 27 elections. In this regard, the court performs auditing and training tasks for the works of the voting commissions. The judicial entity has arranged polling stations over the 700 rural and urban circuits under the responsibility of the National Armed Forces. At the polls, citizens will vote for the new president of the Republic and the parliament members. Authorities point out that they will announce next Sunday both the primary scrutiny of ballots and the outcome of the constitutional plebiscite on nighttime police rights and on the Social Security reform. In Bolivia, attorney Jorge Nina, who represents both the government elect of Santa Cruz, Fernando Camacho, and former civic leader of Potosí, Marco Pumari, filed appeals in order to set them apart from the #1 case. The case refers to the November 2019 incident after the resignation of Evo Morales, for which Camacho and Pumari were charged for terrorism, sedition, and conspiracy crimes, and had been in preventing detention. For the hearing that will be held on Thursday, the heads of the penitentiaries granted their transfer to the 6th Sentencing Court of La Paz. Meanwhile, concerning former coup President Nina Áñez, the court ruled out she cannot be persecuted twice for the same crimes, so she was not included on the trial. However, the prosecutor's office filed an appeal against the court's ruling pending to be solved. In Bolivia, authorities continue cracking down on the dengue outbreak at the 27 municipalities. The Deputy Minister of Promotion and Epidemiological Surveillance, Max Enriquez, ensured this week they have taken actions to control particularly dengue and avoid its spread. The authority granted that the governmental plan of action includes both trainings on the clinical treatment of patients and delivery of basic inputs for bring the transmitters. Enriquez further warned they mustn't stop collecting wasted and cleaning areas, among other preventive measures. Meanwhile, the Cuban Institute of Tropical Medicines, alongside the Nuclear Agency of the Ministry of Science, Technology and the Environment of the country, are currently working on a project to sterilize male mosquitoes through the ionizing radiation. The Haitian administration asked the United Nations for the peacekeeping forces to strengthen its plans against criminal groups operating in the nation. The Presidential Council requests the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to transform the multinational security support mission. In this regard, several local media outlets assured that this new mission will allow government authorities to provide multiple resources to reach peace. This October 24th marked the 79th anniversary of the founding of the United Nations organizations in 1945, when China, the United States, France, the United Kingdom, the Soviet Union, and most of the other signatory countries ratified each charter at the end of the World War II. The 1971, the United Nations General Assembly passed a special resolution recommending that member states consider this date as an official holiday. Since then, October 24th has traditionally been marked throughout the world by meetings, debates, and exhibitions on the goals and achievements of the organization. United Nations Days is usually celebrated with an international concert at the General Assembly, but sometimes special events are held to electrically link the UN to cities around the world. We have come to the end of this brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, on X, and on Instagram as well. For TeleSUR English from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.